Hey guys, how you doing? Thanks for joining me again. If you have, appreciate it. If you haven't, I hope you check the videos out before this one. The kind of continuation of those two, Wargaming's brand of Kool-Aid and censorship, and the one just before this, that marks of excellence and win rate don't necessarily mean that a player is a good player, team-wise. So that's the purpose of this video. It's just this summation of that and some video evidence, as well as talk to you about other people's experience of this stuff that they've recorded as being their experience, and a guy, a dad who tested out, did a little experiment with, on his account, his son's account. I'll let you know his findings in a little experiment. So this assertion that I'm trying to make, win rates aren't necessarily, marks aren't necessarily a sign of skill. Wargaming determines your win rate more than you do, by far. And hopefully go into that in this video, explaining what I'm trying to say. The first thing probably to note is matchmaker, right? The most important determining factor in your success, win rate wise, in this game is the matchmaker. So you don't have any control. I don't have any control over the people I'm teamed up with, right? I mean, this. So that's number one. Let's get that out of the way. Matchmaker. Time you log on, the server you're on, tier you're playing, the number of players available at that time of day or night, or bots. It was in the case now with multiplayer, lots of bots now. And the skill level of those players, you don't determine any of those things. Wargaming does. Next thing you have no control of whatsoever is RNG. PC version is plus or minus 25%, and the console version is plus or minus 20%. So RNG is applied to you in multiple ways. Hopefully, don't forget any of them here. Accuracy, penetration, damage, module damage, crew damage. Also, not only that, you're, for instance, damaging that guy's ammo rack right there, but also damage that's applied to you. And the high and low rolls, right? If you look at a module damage, that's another part of RNG. RNG controls whether you damage somebody's modules or not. You can damage people's tracks, you can damage their gun, turret ring, you can set them on fire, you can injure their damage, or kill crew members. Vision slots, damage the engine. Let me know if I'm not missing anything. That there's multiple. When you plus and minus 20% on each of those RNG factors that are just being applied to your damage given and to your damage received alone, You're ending up with a big number right there that you have no control over. And as I said, first video, the Kool-Aid video, you control exactly two things in this game. And Dad, all the only ones that are left now are on the where everybody likes to camp there. Camp that corner. Forget about your teammates, just camp the corner. Let me see a guy here, 3 barrels. Three stripes on his barrel. An indicator of skill. That make for a good teammate. He's gonna have a good personal game. He doesn't care about his team. That's why he's sitting back and there's this guy. The only 2 guys left. They're back in that corner the whole time. You'll find this kind of gameplay with guys with 3 stars on their 3 stripes. Whatever the marking is, mark of excellence is. This is how they play. This is how they get those marks. They're not plugging the gap. They're not going to the open. They're not going to the objectives. They're not going to aid a teammate. They just rocket up their own damage. Pointless damage, as I talked about in video before this. Quickly Baby's definition. Pointless damage, useless damage. That's what that is right there. The game was over a long time ago because 2 guys, me and 1 other guy, went to the right flank. So where were we talking about high and low rolls? If your vehicles has a damage percentage or average of 400, that means you can roll 480 or down to 320, right? Plus or minus 20%. So you're talking about big variances there, and that's just for 1 guy, just you. Do you penetrate that shot? Do you miss that shot? What kind of damage does it cause? What kind of modules you're breaking and getting broken on your tank? All controlled by Wargaming, not by you. And you're 1 of 30. Players and bots, your combination of the 2 now. So you multiply all those factors, all those different variables by 30. And you're getting up with a huge number of combinations that are possible in each and every match. And I'm dead already. Pretty quick here. Went to the front. Nobody's around me. This guy's camped on that hill behind me. Last match, but nobody's coming up to help me. So I make a mistake here. I kind of turned the wrong way and underestimate this guy's ability to hit me. And I'm expecting guys to come up behind me. Instead of worrying about that guy who's right in front of me. Get taken out. Sorry. So, I talked about a dad's little experiment with his kid's account. He decided his kid had played up to tier 4 tanks. So the dad decided to do an experiment with his tier 4 tanks on his account. So let me see if I can keep track of exactly what this guy talked about here. Let me find my notes on it. Dad decides to try a World of Tanks experiment with his son's account. First he plays in tier 4 tanks, as that is his son's highest level of tank. He says he plays all tier 4 tanks on his account, equaling 11 matches. Plays 11 matches in a row, lost. In those 11 matches, he says he killed an average of 7 tanks per match, whereas teammates killed an average of 0.6 tanks per match. He then states that he has a university level of math skills. So, I took a university level math too, only because I was required to. Believe me, I wasn't any good at it. So I'm just trusting what he says is accurate and true, and taking him at face value. He says he calculates the chance of this occurring as 1 in 700. 1,768,098,000. So over 1.7 billion chance of that happening randomly. Just 11 consecutive losses, where you're killing 7 tanks in a row in a tier 4 match. Okay, so he says, okay, maybe this is just, an accident. So he repeats it, the same experiment again, and he says he comes up with extremely similar results. Then he goes on to his son's account. He plays with his sons because his son's only played. Up to that point, his son had only played 235 games, and had worked his way up to a tier 4 tank level. So dad plays with his son's tier 4 tanks. He says he plays a total of 225 games on his son's account, and boosts his win rate from, his son had a 50% win rate. He boosts his son win rate to 68% at the end of those 225 matches. Dad's win rate on his account is 48%. So what changed? Right? What changed there? He's trying to control for the variables. What's the variable that changed? The account changed. He goes from playing his own account to his son's account. From a 48% win rate on a different account. Same guy doing the same kind of things, presumably. But Wargaming doesn't know that's his account, thinks it's his son's account. He takes that account to a 68% win rate. Here's the start. Just pointing out the start of the purpose of this video. I had a conversation with another CC in his comment section. It was propagating skills as a result of it. Win rate is skills, win rate is skills, skills is win rate. So I had a conversation with the guy in the comment section, and I said to the guy, really, you probably have a better chance of, predicting and controlling the weather than you do have any control over the different variables that are in this game, as far as that control your win rate. Oh, sorry. I said to him, how often have you been AFK or just shit the bed? Phone call comes or something like that, you have to drop the control. And your team still won. Well, if you've played thousands of games, it's happened a lot. How about when you, I said to him, when you've had a really good game, you finish first, second on your team, many times. I deleted, this is the star of the show right here, this guy, watch him. Well, you've done a fantastic job and still lost miserably. I had previous generations of consoles, so I had to delete all these screenshots I was saving up to prove a point. Hard drive after hard drive full of screenshots. Where I was by far the best player on my team, and in a high percentage of those, the best overall on both teams. Didn't mean anything. Still lost by a huge margin in a lot of those cases. So I asked, you don't. And he kind of he didn't like that response, right? And he said to me, how do you explain win rates of, when guys got a 70% win rate? I said, well, did you read my comment, man? The comment was, you have no control over it. You're not that good to control for all the variables multiplied together equals thousands of possible variables every match. That's what a guy said. Former Wargaming World of Tanks employee, in an article that I came across when I first started playing this game, explained this 2 videos back. He said, Wargaming controls each and every aspect of this game, right down to an individual level, every freaking match. Alright, so if you want to believe that you have control over that, well, that's fine. Go ahead and believe that. I mean, your gaming experience may be great. I'm happy if you got fantastic win rate and stars on your barrel. I'm just saying that doesn't necessarily mean the guy's a good player. I've more often found that it means that the guy is nowhere to be seen when. The reason I picked this video here is because a long time ago, pre 6.0, I had a guy like this on my team, and he won when we had no business whatsoever winning the match. It was a more dramatic example than this one. That guy had 3 stars in his barrel. He went with me to an opposite side of the map, and I thought, okay, we're gonna hold our own on this side. Got this guy 3 stars on his barrel with me, and here comes the wave of enemies. I look over my shoulder, the guy's gone. 3 stripes on his tank barrel, and he's vanished. And he went running back and forth sideline to sideline back in our spawn area. And to his credit, he won the game that we had no business winning. I was long since dead, so I watched him do it, right? I watched him. And that was pre 6.0. So I saved this video because this guy here pulls off a victory in a game that we had really no business winning. Our guys were useless. All those guys camping at the back, they were pretty much useless. Now watch what this guy does to pull the game off. So I said to him, I said to him, this YouTube CC, I said, I've had thousands of battles in this game. You know how many times I've seen a guy win? Like almost single-handedly. It's not single-handedly, right? Because that would be 20,000 some odd this tank has 1,250 hit points, he'd have to take off the board more than 20,000 before he lost all the heroes. That then you could say he won it single-handedly, right? So nobody wins single-handedly in this fucking game. But RNG's working in its favor. And I said to the guy, I've seen it exactly twice since I started playing this game, where a guy that's kind of wiped the floor with the enemy team at the end of the match and won it. And this is the one that I have saved on the PS5 to prove this point, to show you what I mean. This guy does a fantastic, even if RNG is working in his favor, he does a fantastic job. Now, speaking of RNG, watch what happens here. Watch what happens. He finds out where that last piece is, the artillery piece. And watch the artillery piece. He blows one just over his shoulder. Okay, so I saved the screenshot there so you can see that. Alright, now he just turned in desperation and fired, right? But what if he had to clip this? Rats. Just clipped them. With that artillery round. It would have been game over. RNG. Right? But RNG said no to that. And yes to our... No to that team. Yes to our team. And look at that. I finished second. I was like the second guy to die there. I'm all by myself. I went to the front. But that guy right there, he wiped the floor with the rest of them. So it's only the second time I've seen that happen. So all these guys brag about their win rates and the stars on their barrel. Haven't impressed me one little bit. But this guy impressed me. In that first game I'm talking about, I was pissed off with the guy for leaving me all alone. But he won the game for us. That was impressive. It was a more impressive example than this one. So anyhow guys, thanks for watching. Trying to sum up this RNG